Good morning, my dear students of class 8, and I am happy to welcome you all to today's botany class. What are we going to learn today? Today's topic is food production. It is a new lesson, so it is food production. Actually, it is not directly related to botany, it is somewhat related to geography, but however it is given in your textbook. So, let us get started with this lesson, food production. What is food? Why you need food? Food is a basic need for life, right? Why it is called a basic need? Can you live without food? No, right? So, it is a basic need for life. Only because of food we stay alive. It is a basic need to keep us alive. That is why we take in food. So, there are two types of food. What are they? What are the two types of food? Food generally what we eat either fall under the category of plant food or they come under the category of animal food. So, can you give some examples of plant food? Some examples given in your text is cereals, pulses, vegetables and fruits. So, these all come under plant food, right? So, cereals, pulses, vegetables and fruits are plant food. Then what is animal food? Animal food include meat, milk, honey, eggs, etc. right? So, these are some examples of plant food and animal food. So, what we have seen in this slide, why do we need food? We need food because it is a basic need which keeps us alive, and then there are two types of food called plant food, for example cereals, pulses, vegetables and fruits, and animal food include meat, milk, honey, eggs and so on. What next? Okay, then we learn about agriculture. Okay, what is agriculture? Generally when we hear this word agriculture, what comes into your mind? A very big green field only comes into your mind, no? So, a misconception is we think agriculture is related to crop cultivation only, like we are cultivating some plants we imagine, but actually see the definition for agriculture: practice of growing food crops and raising animals, which means raising animals also come under this group agriculture. Apart from growing crops or plants, when you grow up some animal at home, no, like cow or goat, all, no, so that also come under this word agriculture only. So, the definition for agriculture is a practice of growing food crops and raising animals. So, why do we do this? Why do we carry out agriculture? Because to get desired products. What is the desired product here? If you cultivate a crop, you will get some products, no? Say for example, a paddy field will give you rice, and then apart from these food grains, there are also like plants which give fibers, no? Like cotton, jute. So, that is also a desired product. Only because of that we get clothes all, no? So, that is also a desired product. Then the definition of crops is given in your text. So, how can you define crops? Crops are plants which are grown on a large scale cultivation. Okay, generally we have plants everywhere, no? So, which you refer to as crops. If you are going to cultivate on a large scale, then you can define it as those plants as crops. And then why do we need crops? Crops are cultivated either for food or economic purpose. What is food and what is economic purpose? Food is our basic requirement, no? So, for us to eat we cultivate crops, because without cultivation at some point there will be nothing to eat, right? So, for food we are cultivating crops regularly, and for economic purpose certain plants what we cultivate just for economic purpose. Economic purpose means just to make money out of it. We may not require that as a basic need, but however we cultivate to earn money. So, if it is for basic requirement, it is considered as food crop, and if it is for earning money, then it is for economic purposes. So, in this slide what we have studied? We have studied the definition for agriculture. What is agriculture? How can you define? It is a practice of growing food crops and raising animals. And why do we do agriculture? To get desired products either from the plants or animals. Then what is the definition of crop? If the plants are cultivated on large scale, then they are termed as crops. And why do you need crops? Crops are either cultivated for food or for economic purposes. And then rice and wheat were the first crops cultivated. These days there are many crops cultivated. No, the first crops that were cultivated were rice and wheat. Then only they began to cultivate the other crops. Then crops are of two types. You can categorize crops into two types called as food crops and cash crops. What are food crops? So based on what do they categorize into food and cash crops? Based on the purpose of cultivation. What does this mean? Purpose of cultivation means why you cultivate. You can cultivate crops either for food or you can cultivate for making money. I told no, the previous point only is repeated again. So what are food crops? Food crops are the crops that meet the basic food requirements. So without that we will not live. Like rice, wheat, all are food crops because that is a basic source of food. No, always we don't eat chocolates, we eat rice. No, we need rice, we cannot survive. So that is a basic food which is essential. And then other examples are cereals like rice, wheat and maize. Maize is also an example for basic food. And then pulses also come under food crop. Examples for pulses are grams, peas and beans. So what all come under food crops? First, cereals. Cereals include rice, wheat and maize. And then pulses come under food crops which include grams, peas and beans. What else come under food crops? Vegetables and fruits. All the fruits and vegetables also come under food crops because without all these it is difficult for us to survive. So it is all essential needs. Then apart from this, sugar crops also come under food crops. What is sugar crop? Sugarcane. Sugarcane is a sugar crop because out of that only we get sugar, right? So what are all coming under food crops? Cereals, examples rice, wheat, maize. Pulses, example grams, peas and beans. Learn all these, okay? Vegetables and fruits and also sugar crops come under food crops. Then what all come under cash crops, out of which you can gain money? Cash crops include rubber, tea, cashew nuts, coffee, jute, sugarcane, oil seed and cotton. Why they all come under cash crops? You also have tea and coffee daily, right? Why it is not a food crop? Why do you consider it as a money making factor? Because tea, coffee, all, it is not an essential need. You can survive still without tea and coffee. With milk alone you can survive, right? Just for adding flavors we add this. So it is not an essential or a basic need, but still we use it, so it comes under cash crops. And also people make money out of it, no, like for their survival or for their economic gains. And then jute, all for clothes we get, we use, right? It is also a cash crop. It is not a It is not essential that definitely we need jute, but still we make it. So it all comes under cash crops. Similarly, rubber, oil, all, it's a additional requirement. And then crops are classified into two called kharif crops and rabi crops. Already we saw one classification. Now what was it? Food crops and cash crops. Now again crops are classified into two called kharif crops and rabi crops. Based on what we have classified? Based on the growing seasons in India. This is based on India. Okay. So based on the seasons we classify plants into kharif crops and rabi crops. What are kharif crops? These crops are also called as monsoon crops. Why? Because it grows well during June to mid-September. So people start, the farmers, they will sow the seeds in the month of June and then they will harvest. The harvest is between September to October. So since this cultivation happens in monsoon season, it is called as kharif crops or monsoon crops. So it is sown in June and harvested in September to October period. What are the examples of kharif crops? Rice, maize, bajra and sugarcane comes under kharif crops. So what we have seen about kharif crops grow during the period of June to mid-September. Since it is in monsoon time, it is called as monsoon crops and it is sown in June and harvested in September. Examples: rice, maize, bajra and sugarcane. Memorize everything, okay? Then rabi crops. Rabi crops are also called as winter crops because they are cultivated in winter season. When it is sown, the seeds are sown in October or November and they are harvested in the month of April to May. So the months are like, so it is sown in October to November and it is harvested in the months of April to May. All these you have to keep in mind. What are the examples of rabi crops? Wheat, pea, barley and mustard are the examples given in your textbook. So learn the examples for all the types of crops. Okay. Then what are the crops generally grown in India? Okay. There are 6 types of crops are given in your textbook. In today's class we will be learning about 3 types of crops and in the next class I will continue about 3 types of crops that are grown generally in India. What is the first type of, before seeing about the types of crops, we will see some facts. Generally in India, 50% of employment is because of farming. What does this mean? 50% of the people are doing agriculture in India. So 50% of employment is because of growing crops in India. Okay, what factors affect the crop growth in India? Okay, if a crop has to grow, what all factors will affect it? First is the weather. Depending upon the weather only, see some plants may need hot climate, some will grow in moderate climate, no. So depending upon the weather, the type of plant which grows in a place will vary, and also depending upon the soil, there are different types of soil, no. Some plants will grow well in black soil, some in red soil, some in sandy soil, like that all. It varies, right? So one factor important for crop cultivation is also soil, and topography is another factor. What is topography? It is the height from the sea level. See, every place differs in height from the sea level, no? So depending upon the height of that place also, the type of crop which can grow there will vary. Okay, so topography is one factor which affect crop growth, then weather is one factor and soil is another factor. So the 3 factors which decides the type of crops grown in a place are weather, soil and topography. This also you have to keep in mind. Then we will start. I told you, no, there are 6 types of crops that grow in India. Today we will be learning about 3 types of crops. The first type of crop is rice and wheat. Okay. This rice and wheat is a staple, both of them are staple food in India. Why it is a staple food? Food is like when there is requirement of one type of food in one place, that is called a staple food. Say for example, in South India we consume so much of rice, right? So farmers, what they will do, they will cultivate. The first priority for farmers will be cultivation of paddy or rice, right? So because it is the staple food in South India. What about North India? What people eat? Mostly they eat wheat, right? Chapati they make and eat throughout the day, right? So for them, what will be the staple food? Wheat will be the staple food, right? So rice and wheat are staple food So they are cultivated, especially wheat in the northern plains. Wheat is cultivated, and in rice, as I told you and as you all know, it is cultivated in southern India. Some of the states in southern India are Kerala, Karnataka and Andhra. So in these three states rice is cultivated more. Okay. So the first type of crop that is found in India are rice and wheat, which are staple food. Rice is predominant in southern India, and the states which cultivate rice include Kerala, Karnataka and Andhra, and the staple food in North India is wheat, and that is cultivated in the northern plains. Okay, this place is all you have to remember. Then the second type of crop in India is pulses. Okay, what all come under pulses? Pulses are generally leguminous crops. Have you heard this word somewhere in biology? A word related to biology comes now only. Leguminous. What are leguminous plants? Do you remember? In symbiotic relationship we have studied leguminous plants are those which have symbiotic relationship with which bacteria? A bacteria called rhizobium, right? So these leguminous plants will be deficient of nitrogen source. So the rhizobium will fix atmospheric nitrogen and enrich it with nitrogen. This we have studied, right, in symbiotic relationship. So coming back to the level of geography, leguminous crops will have more protein source in them. Of course, this is also biology only. So because it is rich in protein. Okay. So this is also an essential need, no? So that is also cultivated more in India. It is a source of proteins. Here this group leguminous crops include PGNP, which is tur dal, the sambar dal what we use, no, that is this PGNP or tur dal. Then black gram or urad dal is the one what we make that soft vada, no, that is urad dal. And green gram, that is moong dal, and lentils, which are masoor dal. These are all coming under the group of leguminous crops or the pulses category. So first we have seen about staple crops grown in India, rice and wheat. The second type of crops grown in India is pulses. What they include? They include all leguminous crops like PGNP, black gram, green gram, lentils. Okay. This is about the second type of crops grown in India. The third type of crops grown in India is millets. So what all come under millets? Ragi, jawar and bajra come under millets, and it is cultivated in places like Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Karnataka. Clear? So millets are grown in Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Karnataka, and the examples given in your textbook is Ragi, Jawar and Bajra. Learn the names. Clear? And then about the activity what I gave you in the last botany class, only 2 have submitted to me, very bad, because what is your class strength? 25, right? Only out of 25 only 2 have submitted, which is a very bad response. However, I congratulate both of the students, that is Candy and Asmi John, have submitted, and really they have made very good. This is Candy's collage, and I don't know how clear it is in this video, but the original picture what I received, no, it was too good, because the picture selection, no, most of them with like it was very clear, and the choice of selection was also too good, very good, Candy. And Asmi John also has sent me in the PPT format. She has sent me, it was also good. So only few I have displayed, don't get angry both of you. So flora and fauna of 2 I have displayed, okay, Asmi. So good for Asmi also. So what I have done is, for this class again I have given you a collage, because I want others also to try making collage, okay. So for today's homework what you are going to do? You are going to make a collage about kharif crops and rabi crops what you find in India. Okay. So, make a collage. How you will make collage? Somebody in Zoom session asked me, ma'am, how to make collage, with what I have to make. See, there are many collage making apps in Google Play. You go to Google Play and download apps for making collage. Before that, you can download some pictures of kharif crops and rabi crops, download and have in your mobile or in the system. Mobile is okay, because for using apps that will be better, I think. Then in Google Play Store you can go and download. If you do not have, I think maybe for making photos all you will be making, you will be having already the collage makers. If you do not have, just download one, and then these pictures just you can drag and add. You can select the pictures what you need and add it to that app. It will give you a collage. It is a matter of minutes only, it do not take so much of time. So, please do, and I need the assignment or activity from all the 25 students this time. Okay. So, that is all for today's class. In the next class, we will be learning the 3 more types of crops that is cultivated in India. Okay. So, until I meet you in your next zoology class, you all take care and bye bye.